And we are back, guys, with my top 145 Mario Kart courses of all time. There are 4 more episodes left, including this one, so we're going to get right into this one. Number 58, Mario Circuit 2 from Super Mario Kart, the SNES version. And yes, I do get a bad start, but we're just going to go with it anyway. So you have pipes scattered on the left and right side inside the course, or just on the stand over there, to try and make this course a little bit more challenging. I mean, it is the last course on the Mushroom Cup, so you got quite a bit more turns, slightly more narrow tracks than the the other tracks in the Mushroom Cup. I really like this jump there. It kind of makes for an SNES track, it really makes the track a little bit more lively, because you're actually getting some elevation without the use of a feather. So I find that really cool. And besides that, you got some nice twists and turns. You could try and cut in between the pipes, but it's really hard. I wouldn't recommend doing it anyway. And if you have a mushroom, you could just cut this entire section that I'm driving on, or I was about to drive on right then, and make some use out of that. 57, we got Bowser's Castle from Mario Kart 64. This is a very long course, but the music, just the terror that you feel when you're playing it, it's just very interesting. You got that green thwomp behind the cage over there. No one ever knows the mystery behind why he's there and why Bowser decided to put him in jail for life, but he's there. And this is like kind of the boring section. You just got a red carpet with a couple of walls and a couple of like direct 90-degree turns. There's no like curves except for the tower on the end of the course, but besides that, it's just straight like square 90-degree turns. You're on this bridge with some nice lava. This is the one curve in this entire track. It goes about 270 degrees, and then you're just going off the ramp. You see some couple houses. It's a very nice track. I like it a lot. The music is pretty nice out there, and Bowser's fire, if it went farther onto the track, it'd make it a little bit more challenging, but the fact that this version of Bowser's Castle in the Star Cup is probably why it's on the corner there. Number 56, another Bowser's Castle. This is Bowser's Castle from Mario Kart 7, and I like how it has the you're gliding to start the course, and you glide right into Bowser's mouth. You got 2 different pathways you could take. I start failing left and right, and got spider webs all over, and just green neon lights with some current thwomps. And you could take this one shortcut here by going into a tube and riding on top of the spinning pillars over there, instead for going through that thing, because if you go through it, it's not really that fun to do. You'd rather try and go on top of it, because not many CPU players will drive on top of it. And then you also got these lava geysers that are going out, and you want to try and avoid those, especially when you want to take this shortcut here with that ramp behind the rock that I also almost failed. Man, I almost failed a lot in this course now that I'm watching it. But so you could also end with a glider here too, go through the starting line, which is a nice circle. So a very nice touch, a lot of unique elements that this course has that not many other courses or Bowser's Castles have in general. And then you can take this bottom path as well, which it will bring you up, and you will have to take a ramp to get yourself back down onto the lower level and continue the course as usual. We will be entering number 55, and coincidentally enough, this is yet another Bowser's Castle. 3 Bowser's Castles in a row. This is Bowser's Castle from Mario Kart 8, and as you can see, this is the most graphically well designed, polished, and beautiful Bowser's Castle out there. The walls and the carpets just make the 64 version of Bowser's Castle go to shame or something like that, but that is because the Wii U came out 16 years after the Nintendo 64. But nonetheless, this Bowser's Castle is very fun to race on. You got that Bowser with he's not blowing fire anymore. He's actually, punching the track with his fists, and you can actually make tricks out of that. So that's very interesting. And then you're driving the anti-gravity. You could see the lava geysers go many feet higher up close to Mario, and you could see him go in all sorts of directions depending on which side of the anti-gravity you're on. You could choose to take the hill there just to get a nice little trick off the ramp. That's not the optimal route in time trials, but you could take it in Grand Prix when you want to avoid the rocks, and that is pretty much how that Bowser Castle works. And I promise you, this is the last Bowser's Castle in a row, the 4th Bowser's Castle in a row from Super Mario Kart Bowser's Castle 2. Now, you guys are probably shocked, because this course was ranked extremely low last time on my top 136. However, I kept playing this track more and more because I wanted to, try and beat Super Mario Kart, in all 3 engine classes. And then, as I'm playing this course against computers, I just keep dominating them, and I'm winning, and I'm hardly doing anything, which is different than what I'm doing on this time trial right now. However, that is that is what plays into the experience factor. The fact that I'm just playing so much better on this course than I have on other courses. I'm having a much better time playing on this course. Plus, we got complete 90-degree turns. You get to choose your path for here. I usually don't recommend the path I'm taking now. The path I took on the first lap is usually what I would recommend taking. And then you also got this stop sign. I don't think you can make that with a feather, but it is there just to mess with you, and I like that kind of trickery in that kind of track, especially since they wrote stop, so you can actually turn around and go back. No other track has that. But we're moving on to Sky Garden. This isn't a Bowser's Castle. Obviously, we went through 4 Bowser's Castles in a row. I'm sorry about that, but that was just a coincidence. But we're going on to Sky Garden, which got some beanstalks. Checking the beanstalk reference. You can take a shortcut over there, you know, cutting off that corner and landing right onto the bridge, and then you got another shortcut in the course right here, bouncing off a cloud, which I think the time trial ghost user at least uses it a little bit more optimal than I do. And then you got a little jump over there. Just a very nice track in general. The music is super catchy. You got and the scenery is pretty nice too. If I didn't tell you about that, the music is what makes this course really nice. And you know, just riding on the surface and hearing your kart drive on it, oh my god, it's actually pretty satisfying. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. 52, we got Luigi Circuit from Mario Kart Double Dash. Not many people like this course, surprisingly. For me, I think it's just because of nostalgia's sake. When you're playing on time trials or multiplayer, you know, the middle section will stay open, so you could actually, you know, stay on the right side of the track when driving, and then when you come back around, you got to stay on your right side of the track. But it's just all interconnected, and it's very unique in that sort of way. However, when you're playing in single player mode, they put a wall there, so I think for beginners, when they don't know what they're doing, they put the wall there so you could actually, you know, drive on the same side of the road that you're supposed to be driving on. And then you have these little back passageways that could send you behind the chain jump, and some pipes like right over here, which make this course really nice. It's got some boost panels on the corner and everything. It's just one of those smooth courses that, you know, you don't really see in any other game, because parts of the track connect with each other, and it makes it work like that. I like that a lot. But we're moving on to Wuhu Loop after a short talk about Luigi Circuit, and this is a 1-lap course. It is you start off with the red bridge that you got from Pilot Wings, I think that game was called, or something like that. This game in the PAL region is called Wuhu Island Loop, just in case, you know, you guys didn't know. And, you know, it's very nice. I think it's kind of a better name, but, you know, anyways, we're moving on. Got some houses in the corner. You got some cars on each side. Why this course is, you know, up here, all the way up here, when there are car tracks like Wuhu Highway and Shroom Ridge all the way down on my top 145. It's because the cars really don't interfere with you as much. The cars aren't really the main point of this track. They're so easy to avoid. You could even, you know, if you take this right side, which I don't take often, as you can see right here, because I'm messing up. It's because you really don't interact with the cars all that much, and it's pretty nice because there's hardly any cars on this track, which is nice. And then you got this ramp over here. You're still completing this 1 lap. The music that this track has is really nice as well. And, you know, I cut there so I could actually show you guys that I made the shortcut, and which is kind of hard, but you know, you just gotta do it in a certain method, and you'll be fine. As you can see, the track is split up into 3 sections. There's some random ramps over there, so in case you need to get some trick boosts and to add some extra speed to your kart, you know, you could do that on the final lap as well. I would say that the course is a little bit on the narrow side. However, you know, I'm not going to complain about that, because, you know, you're hard to play and all that kind of stuff. You could go on the glider ramp, and you could, you know, the same thing with Neo Bowser City. You know, you got the little air vent on the clown car or whatever, or, you know, it looks like a clown car, just the body shape. And, you know, you'll be sent back to the course, and you finish it right where you started. One of the only courses, I think, but that and 3DS Rainbow Road, where you finish where you start, and with 1 lap. And as you saw right there, that is a nice shortcut. You actually skip the final lap. So it actually drops you off after the final lap. So you're still on your 2nd lap, even though you're in the 3rd section. And then when you do that shortcut, it actually brings you all the way to the end. And this is pretty nice, because now you're still on your 2nd lap, even though you're over here. So the final lap will happen right when you cross the finish line. As you can see, there's a little flicker in the top right corner. Now when we look down, our final lap, it only took us 2 milliseconds. I think that's like a flap world record, fast lap, you know, that 2 milliseconds to take a lap. Oh my god, I love doing that shortcut, trying to see the best times. I bet if I was like a heavy character and I did a drift similar to that, man, maybe 1 millisecond, we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, while that was all fun and games, we got Toad Harbor, number 50 over here, halfway to 100, but this is Toad Harbor. you know, you can ride on top of these, you know, tablecloths or whatever, whatever you want to call them, and you know, the castles do look a little bit like Lego bricks, especially, you know, those wooden castles over there, and you're just moving on. It's just a nice, calm course, especially the music. The music in Mario Kart 8 in general is really fantastic. I don't really use the anti-gravity section just because it's a little slower, and I want to kind of get myself some coins and, you know, try and get myself to go on the boost panels and get some nice item boxes when I'm playing online or in a Grand Prix, especially when I'm falling behind in online or something like that. But nonetheless, I also sometimes take the right side when I know there's no train coming along and I just want to avoid the crowd. And it's all in all, it's just a simple course, and I like it for that. It's, you know, it's pretty fun to race on. The detail and the presence, its availability is really nice. Now we got Royal Raceway number 49. Now, you know, obviously the main reason why this course is on here is because of the Super Mario 64 castle exploration, but overall this course in general is really nice as well, because despite it being kind of long, just like Wario Stadium, not nearly as long as that though, but it is part of the Star Cup. So it is, the Star Cup courses do have, you know, their length in common. In Mario Kart 64, that is. You got these piranha plants, which you could easily avoid. And then I like this part too, you know, you got some nice boost panels like you saw in N64 DK Jungle's Parkway, and no, DK's Jungle Parkway I should say. And then you got this cannon which could take you all the way to the other side, and you'd just be landing right there. If you went right, you could just explore Peach's Castle, you know, on a time trial. I wouldn't do that in a Grand Prix when you're trying to get first place against computers though. You got no time to explore Peach's Castle then. But yeah, one lap, as you could say, takes almost a minute to complete if you're bad at the game like I am. You got some crowd on the right, and it's kind of hard to take some shortcuts there because you could easily fall in the water. Sorry about that. And this is Peach's Castle from Super Mario 64. I just finished playing the game, so you know, everything I'm driving on right now is very reminiscent of Super Mario 64. Obviously it's scaled so much shorter because there's not much space in this track as there was in the original Super Mario 64 game, where the castle, where outside the castle was its own place. But nonetheless, that was fun to explore. Now we're going on to 48, which is Sherbet Land from Mario Kart Double Dash. This is a very nice short track, especially for the Star Cup, and it brings back a lot of nostalgia, especially because, you know, I used to play Mario Kart Double Dash when I was like less than 5 years old. But you're already, you know, a third of the way through the course as you're entering the cave. The music in this track is also very catchy. You know, I like the upbeat, you know, rhythm that this song, that the music track has to offer. And then the ice physics in this track, you know, combined with the Mario Kart Double Dash physics, you know, all make the drifts a lot more smooth. Even though it may seem like you're slipping around and stuff, but you could easily avoid those Shy Guys and make your way around the track in like under 30 seconds. So I find that pretty entertaining. Now, this is maybe controversial because my top 136, I had this in my first video. It was like my 5th or 4th least favorite track in the entire game, but that is because I hardly even knew this track exists. Like, this is, if I were to think, if you told me like 3 or 4 years ago that, you know, this track was pretty much the forgotten track, I would have, you know, believed it. I wouldn't even know this track was a thing. But, you know, I had to play this track more often, you know, try and get, you know, 3 stars in Mario Kart Super Circuit, which is extremely hard, by the way. I don't think I have a single 3-star in that game, to be honest with you. But the night sky changes, and now it's a deep purple, and it's actually super nice. You don't want to get hit by these Shy Guys because they're like the Monty Moles in Super Mario Kart. However, you know, they're a bit easier to avoid because you got the boost panels, so they try and bait you to driving on the boost panels because the Shy Guys are right there. But nonetheless, I find that track to actually be very fun with the boost panels because it makes it seem much more fast-paced, which is why it was there in 47 instead of for like 130. Now we're on to Ribbon Road. Definitely not as graphically enhanced as the Ribbon Road in Mario Kart 8. This does not take place in a child's bedroom. This just takes place in a world full of presents and some skies. But you know, it is what it is. It's a road made out of ribbon. It's all red. The music in this track is actually really nice. I know I'm talking about the music a lot in this episode, but honestly, you know, the better these tracks are, the better the music gets. And you know, music is a big factor in ranking these tracks as well. And just like that, in about 30 seconds, we were done with a lap. You could also take quite a lot of shortcuts. The shortcut, if you haven't seen my top 10 Mario Kart 8 shortcuts we wish was possible, this was my number 1, the shortcut I just did right there. I wish you could do that on the Retro Rambo Road, but You could do it on this Rainbow Road on the GBA version. It's pretty fun to do. I think the world record takes that, but I'm not really sure. And lastly, we are ending with Hyrule Circuit from Mario Kart 8. Now, honestly, I did not think this track was going to be ranked at this high. I personally do. I have never played a Zelda game. I was going to say I don't like Zelda, but I don't want to make any conclusions before I even play a single Zelda game besides the original. But of course I would prefer Mario over Zelda. I did not think I would rank this track this high simply because it is Zelda themed over instead of it being Mario themed. I was initially opposed to Link being a character, but I'm using him to showcase this course because it is his course, just like I did with the Animal Crossing course. But this course is actually really fun. If you haven't seen my road record chaser that I did a year or two ago, I did a couple of attempts on this track. I think my time in the regular Mario Kart 8 was down to like 156. This game may have been even ranked. This course may have been even ranked higher because of my time trials and my attempts on this course. Because I'm biased towards my time trial tracks in this list. If Mario Kart 8 Deluxe wasn't even a thing, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it removed the fire hopping, so it got rid of a lot of techniques. So I kind of had to like relearn this track, and I haven't attempted time trialing it yet. But nonetheless, that track was fun. So were the rest of these tracks. We have 3 videos left, rankings from 44 all the way to number 1. We are almost done. We just did 100 tracks. That is unbelievable. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the videos. I will see you all later.